Hi guys, Freddy here, back on the desktop with another how-to video. This is actually only the second video in this series, the first which was how to play Star Wars D6, which I did when I was starting up a new campaign of that last year. But recently I've started Games Mastering Dungeons & Dragons again. For the first time in about 34 years. I think I was about 14 the last time I Games Mastered D&D. It was back on the first edition days. But I'm running a local community club for teenagers who are playing role-playing games, giving them a safe space in the local community centre, and the game that everybody knows is Dungeons & Dragons, so that was the game I decided to sit down and run. So I thought I'd briefly go over the rules in this. Now, keeping things really simple. As I've seen in the comments for the Star Wars video, perhaps I oversimplified on that one. But this is only a very brief run over. This shouldn't go on for very long at all. But basically, there are three types of rolls in Dungeons & Dragons. You have your saving throws, you have your skill checks, and you have your attacks. Now, there's other things like spells and all that, but that's way too detailed, and basically every spell has its own rules. But they kind of work like attacks now, so I will leave them in with that. But let's go over the three types of rolls. So, we have our saving throws. That is when a character is attacked, or a trap happens, or something like that. So, they're on a slippery floor, and they have to roll their dexterity to avoid falling over. A rock fall comes down and hits them, striking them on the head, and they have to roll their constitution to stay conscious. Things like that. Now, your saving throws are here, and it's just a simple matter, because most of the dice rolls in Dungeons & Dragons work this way, of rolling a d20 and adding. So for the dexterity check, he got 7, because his dexterity is +1 there. I don't know whether you can make it out quite well, but he's got dexterity of +1, so his saving throws +1. So he only gets 7 on that. But he's on his constitution check. He rolls a 16, and he's got +4. Constitution +2, plus he's a half-orc. But he's got a constitution saving throw of +4. So he actually rolls a 20, which is a pretty good roll. But if we look here, it says he's got advantage on dex against effects that you can see while not blinded, deafened, or something else. So for his dexterity check, if he was on a slippery floor and you could see that, he would roll his d20 twice for advantage, because you advantage and disadvantage. On advantage, roll your dice twice and you choose the higher dice roll. For disadvantage, you roll your dice twice and you choose the lower. So he's got advantage on dex, so he rolled a 6 before, +1, and got 7. His second dice roll is an 18 +1, 19. So he probably makes the save. Tests tend to be about sort of 10, 15, 20 seem to be the standard target numbers. So he would make the low medium rolls, he wouldn't have made a difficult one, but on his con roll he would have made the difficult one. Now, skill checks are very similar. So we have the skills here: acrobatics, animal handling, arcana, athletics, deception, history, insight, intimidation, investigation, medicine, nature, perception, performance, persuasion, religion, sleight of hand, stealth, and survival. So, let's say our half-orc barbarian here, Rahaz, I haven't named him so far in the video, has to make a survival roll. He's out in the wilderness and he's looking for water. So he makes a survival check and he rolls an 8, and he's got a +3 on that. It comes from his wisdom, but he's actually got that skill. So he rolls an 11, which is alright if it's easy just to find a stream or something. If he's in countryside, he'll find that no problem. If he's in desert, that might not be high enough. He's going to need a drink somewhere else. And that's how the skills work. Very, very similar to the saving throws. And we're going to find something very, very similar about attacks here. So, Rahaz, the half-orc barbarian, has a great axe, a hand axe, a javelin, and an unarmed strike. And for all of those, he gains a +5 to hit. So, when he's hitting a character, or hitting an enemy, he rolls his dice, and he adds that. So he rolls a 10, he gets a +5, so he's got 15. So he could hit himself, because his own armor class, as you can see up there, is 13. But against a more heavily armored target, somebody wearing full plate mail, or a dragon, or something like that, he's probably not going to hit. But combat works that way, where you're rolling your d20 plus your hit bonus against somebody's armor class. And if you hit, then you do damage. So, we'll say that he's using his Great Axe. He does 1d12 plus 3 slashing damage. So we lift up our 12-sided dice here, we roll it, and he gets 11 plus 3. So he's doing 14 points of damage. A mighty hit. Now, it's slashing damage, so against things like skeletons, because they don't have any flesh to cut into, they don't take particularly large amounts of damage from slashing weapons. They take a little more damage from bludgeoning weapons, so he might have actually been better punching them. But that's how combat works. You roll your hit bonus plus a d20 against the armor class of the target, and if you hit, you roll damage, which comes off your hit points. So in that attack, 14 would come off. So that would have been a mighty hit against this 3rd level barbarian. Would have taken a third of his hit points away, and he would be massively wounded. And that is a very, very simple rundown of the rules of Dungeons & Dragons. Obviously, there are lots more. You've got spells, you've got magic, you've got special abilities. If I lift the character sheet here and look, what have we got? We've got Rage, where he gains advantage on strength checks and saving throws, not attacks. +2 melee damage with strength weapons. So if he was raging, he'd have gained +2 on that. And he'd have done, not 14, he would have done 16 points of damage. But each of these special abilities are detailed out. These characters are made up on Beyond D6, which is free. I don't think it's a fantastic tool, but it is very, very useful. And when I was creating for the kids at the community centre a bunch of characters, it was very, very easy to go on there, generate 12 characters, print them out, take them in, and then go, there you go, use them. And that's it. Thank you very, very much for watching, as always. Please like and subscribe if you like what I'm doing. But most of all, you look after yourselves, and I'll catch you later. Bye.